Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've uploaded my video. I want to apologize for that in advance. Just wanted to let you know that the reason why I haven't uploaded so long is because, well, I moved into my own apartment. Finally, new apartment, new chapter of my life and everything. So I've been really busy with the move in that process, but now with like my move being done and I'm finally settled in, now I can get back on track with like YouTube videos, creating content with my coaching and all that sort of thing. All right. So what I want to discuss today with you guys actually is a topic that I've actually sort of touched on in my very first video, but I want to touch more on about it in this video actually, which is about love bombing. What does that look like? How do I know if I'm being love bombed and all that sort of thing? Now, I explained in my earlier video, my first video on love bombing and genuine connection, that love bombing is a tactic used by people who are emotionally abusive, highly manipulative, narcissistic, anybody that falls into that spectrum, right? Well, I have like a few things that I want to read to you guys and sort of explain to you along the way on love bombing and the meaning behind it from some psychology that explains the meaning of love bombing. So, according to psychology, love bombing is an attempt to influence another person with over-the-top displays of attention and affection. This kind of behavior is a form of emotional abuse, and although it can be experienced during any stage of a relationship, it is often seen in the early stages of getting to know someone. So, basically what that means is that when you see that you are being love bombed by somebody, especially at the early stages of the relationship, you will know that this is not something genuine. They are getting you hooked to them. They are love bombing you so that they can grab hold of you, that they can have a hold on you, that you get attached to them, you get so invested into them, and that they got a hold on you so that they can do what they want to do and how they see fit, whether it be to emotionally abuse you, whether it to be financially abuse you, whether it be any form of abuse that they would probably have with you once they get you hooked in the relationship, because they're just there to get their needs met, or they're just there to just get something out of you as a source of supply, whether that be attention, whether that be money, whether that be gifts, whether it could be anything really. Now, there are a few examples of love bombing if you're going to ask yourself, well, how do I know I'm being love bombed here? How do I know that this person is love bombing me, especially in the early stages of the relationship? Some of them are a little bit obvious, some of them not so much. It depends on the person. They all have different ways of love bombing, but there are four very, I would say, the four main things that you would see from people love bombing you, especially from people who are narcissistic, people who are emotionally abusive, who are highly manipulative, who are unhealthy, toxic, unhealed. You fill in the blank, right? So the first thing that I would say is probably extravagant gifts. Now, extravagant gifts can be pretty much the most expensive purse, right? Luxury items there. The most expensive perfume, most expensive cologne, most expensive watches, the most expensive rings, the most expensive necklaces. They just shower you with all of these extravagant gifts just so that they could be like, hey, look, I'm giving you all these gifts. I'm giving you all these really, really expensive gifts that I earned from my hard-earned money and stuff. Please love me. Please fall in love with me. Like, I love you so much. Here, I got you all these gifts. That's basically what getting you like extravagant gifts pretty much me. It's not really there to be like, oh, like, I really do love you and I just want to show like my love to you by, getting you this. No, it's like, please love me, please fall in love with me. Do you get what I mean? That's pretty much like how they use extravagant gifts as sort of like a tactic for them to love bomb you. The second thing would be obsessive flattery. Now, obsessive flattery, this could be done in person or on the phone or by texting or whatever it could be. But I would say obsessive flattery is more done in person, where they're always flattering you, but they're doing it in a way that they're so obsessed with you. They're probably, complimenting you left and right, how you're the most wonderful person in the whole world, and that everybody else that they met in their life treated them so poorly, and they're the only one that you're the only one that treated them so like well, and you're the one that completes them, you're the one that makes them feel amazing, and you fill in the dots there, right? Now this can be done in a way that really gets you hooked to them, because this can be really tricky to spot, because a lot of people these days, they actually fall for this one the most, mainly because we hear it, right? We hear it coming from another person, right? And we just automatically think, oh, well, they're really into me. Wow, okay, they must really like me. Okay, I must be doing something right here, right? Like, we all think that we're doing something right to get this person, you know, in our lives, like to date and to be in a relationship with, right? Because we really like this person, we're attracted to this person, and we're like, well, if this person's attracted to me, of course they would say all these things. But be careful, if it's early on in the stages, I'm talking about days or weeks into dating or being in a relationship with this person, there's something going on here, right? There's a motivation behind that. Nobody would probably tell you that you're a godsend from heaven, like an angel or something like that, coming down here to save them from whatever it is that they're unhealed within themselves, or whatever the hurt that they've been dealing with for their past lives and whatnot. That's not something realistic, really. And there's nobody that really says that at the beginning stage of the relationship, unless you're unhealed and that you're toxic and that you have a highly manipulative motive, or even that you're narcissistic or emotionally abusive. If you're in those spectrums, then that's what they would resort to as a way to get you hooked, especially since like no other tactics would work. Like I said, if the gifts didn't work, or if any other tactics wouldn't work, then they would obviously resort to this tactic in a way that like they will try to obsessively flatter you, to basically stroke your ego and to give you that confident boost that you need. It would also be something to increase your sex drive, so that like they would probably act very sexually towards you to get your sex drive increased to like the maximum, and then that way they would get a hold of you that way, right? Now, another one, the third one would be constant complimentary texting. That one, it can be done in texting or in person, but mostly by texting. This one, the dead giveaway for this one is when they say I love you within days or weeks into dating or in a relationship with you. I said it in my first video in Genuine Connection versus love bombing, that if they say I love you very early on in the dating or very early on in the relationship, dead giveaway you're being love bombed, dead giveaway that they're highly manipulative, dead giveaway that they are narcissistic, just a dead giveaway. Nobody says I love you within days or weeks in a relationship. It's impossible. It's not possible at all. Some people might say that they fall in love with love at first sight. Yeah, which is true. But to say I love you with the feeling of, you know, that pure feeling of love and whatnot, it's not love, it's more infatuation. Once that infatuation dies, that's when the I love you kind of dwindles off. If they were narcissistic, emotionally abusive, highly manipulative, etc., etc. Because for them, infatuation to them is love. But once it dies, which eventually does, that's when they would start either doing their motives to discard you or do things to get you hooked to continue getting their supply, and that's all they are going to use you for. It could be one or the other. Maybe they might get you to leave and make you the villain of the story, even though that they were the ones that were abusive in the relationship, right? And the last one is always expecting a prompt reply. Now, this one is a little bit tricky too, because yes, when we have nothing to do in our days, we can reply instantly, very quickly. It's not a big deal, right? But when you're at work or when you're out with friends or when you're doing something, right, we're barely on our phones unless like we don't like the environment that we're in. But even me, I'm somebody that when I'm at work or when I'm out with friends, I'm rarely on my phone. But if I do decide to text you, it's just because I have some downtime and I have some time to text you back, right? But when it comes to people that are narcissistic, highly manipulative, and emotionally abusive, and are unhealed and whatnot, they expect you to reply back like very quickly. Like they would expect a reply like now. They would expect a reply yesterday, basically. Even while you're at work and you're on the clock, let's say you're at work, right? You're in your office or wherever you work, you're in a meeting or you're busy, it's rush hour or something like that, right? And they're just bombarding you with text messages, but they know you're at work. They're just gonna bombard you anyways, and they're just gonna say something like, please answer me back. Why aren't you answering your phone? Blah, blah, blah. And they would resort to calling you or doing something to get you to call them. And you would have to try to de-escalate the situation. But when you try to de-escalate the situation, they escalate the situation to then basically cause the scene for it to be more of like a harassment and not really about, something that's urgent or something that is important in the time frame that you're in. Now, love bombing there are many more examples of like what love bombing can be. These are just a few examples given, but there are many other different forms of love bombing that can happen. There are many different examples of love bombing that you can find all over the internet. Even on social media, there's people that would explain like what love bombing is. There's even some form of love bombing in terms of when somebody tries to basically do a push-pull effect on you, right? That's a sort of like a form of love bombing, but it's more of a manipulative love bombing tactic, right? They pull you in, they do all these great things to you. They do all these things for you. They do all these like amazing things for you, say all these amazing things about you. But then once you get hooked, once you start giving them a lot of attention, once you start giving them a lot of affection, once you start giving them what they want and what they need, especially from supplies and whatnot, then they're going to start doing a push. Like they're going to do a push effect. They're going to start distancing themselves from you. They're going to start not responding to you for days, maybe even weeks. They might just start ignoring you. They'll start doing things that is not, out of character, at least to you anyways. You would see this as out of character, but they would have done this before because that's who they are. And then the cycle of abuse would start commencing from there, right? They would start doing whatever they want to do to start the abuse with you. And once that happens, well, then you start giving a reaction. Then you start breaking down. Then your mental illness, your mental health will start being affected. Your emotional well-being starts getting affected. You just start going on a downward spiral down to rock bottom, basically. And then once that happens, they're going to pull you back in again the same way that they did last time. And then you're going to be like, oh, there's the person I remember. Oh yeah, blah, 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 and then you're going to start doing the same thing to them. You're going to start giving them all the attention, the affection, and the love and whatnot. And then what are they going to do after that? You got my point? So that's one thing that I will have to say about love bombing. Now, if you have any more questions, you can feel free to message me on Instagram down below. If you need to book a session with me, the link for that is down below in the description as well. I also have a website that you guys can check out on if you have any more questions or information about my coaching and what do I provide for my coaching business. It's www.mateogrindthemind.com. I'll link that below in the description as well. But until the next video, guys, I want you all to stay kind to one another and stay blessed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.